In the heart of Berlin, amidst the bustling streets of 1820, a child named Kolak was born. But his arrival was marked not by celebration, but by a profound and overwhelming stench. The odor was so potent, so deeply unsettling, that it defied all explanation. His mother, horrified and unable to endure the suffocating miasma that clung to her newborn, made a desperate choice. She abandoned him on the cold stone steps of a local orphanage, fleeing without a backward glance. The nuns who took him in did so with handkerchiefs pressed to their faces, their prayers mingling with gasps for fresh air. Little did they know, this was merely the beginning of a national crisis, one that would be carried on the wind. As Kolak grew, so did the intensity of his smell. It wasn't just a personal affliction, it was an atmospheric phenomenon. The stench seeped from the orphanage walls, creeping through the cobblestone streets of his neighborhood like an invisible, noxious fog. At first, his neighbors tried to ignore it, sealing their windows and burning incense, but the odor was relentless. It permeated everything, their food, their clothes, their very homes. One by one, families packed their belongings, unable to bear the olfactory assault. Soon, entire districts of Berlin were deserted, the silence broken only by the echo of Kolak's lonely footsteps. The phenomenon spread from town to town as the smell traveled on the breeze, a harbinger of disgust that pushed civilization ever outward. The Great German Exodus had begun. What started as a local nuisance spiraled into a nationwide panic. People from Hamburg to Munich heard tales of the creeping stench, a plague of the senses that was slowly consuming the country. Fearing its inevitable arrival, they didn't wait. A mass migration of historic proportions swept across the land as millions fled, seeking refuge in neighboring countries. They abandoned their farms, their shops, and their ancestral homes, leaving behind a nation emptied of its people. The once thriving cities became ghost towns, their grand architecture standing as silent monuments to a population driven away not by war or famine, but by the unbearable smell of a single boy. Eventually, the last German citizen crossed the border and an eerie silence fell over the entire country. Kolak, now a young man, was the sole inhabitant of a vast empty nation. He wandered through the deserted streets of Berlin, the solitary king of a silent kingdom. He passed empty castles and abandoned opera houses, the only sound the rustle of the wind and the soft patter of his own footsteps. The smell that had driven everyone away was now his only companion in a world he had all to himself. Kolak stood alone under the Brandenburg Gate, a lonely figure in the center of a deserted Germany, forever isolated by the very air he breathed.